Welcome to the Coparenting Chronicles. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Jenna.
And this is a podcast about something we didn't exactly plan on becoming experts in.
But definitely learned the hard way, co-parenting.
We're not therapists, we're not lawyers. Well, Jenna actually is, but we'll get to that later. We definitely don't have it all figured out.
What we are is two parents who decided that even though our relationship isn't common, our commitment to raising healthy and happy kids is.
We'll talk about growth and boundaries, respect, and what it actually looks like to build a functional co-parenting relationship, even when it's hard.
Some episodes will be just us, having honest conversations we wish we'd heard earlier.
And others may include experts, real-life stories, our partners, and practical tools that you can actually use.
Whether you're newly separated, years into co-parenting, or supporting someone who is, this space is for you.
Because co-parenting isn't about being perfect.
It's about being intentional.
And choosing your kids, even on the hard days.
Thanks for being here,
the sitcom that nobody asked for.
So, Donnie, who are we here with now?
Oh my goodness gracious. We are here with Chelsea and Jenna of the Co-Parenting Chronicles podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, this is kind of weird. Another podcast on our podcast.
I don't know. What's the deal, Donnie?
That's kind of weird.
What connection are they doing?
I don't know. I don't know if I like this. This is weird. But you know what? Chelsea's been on the show numerous times.
Yes.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank
Chelsea.
you. Thank you for having me.
So Chelsea is the owner of Celeste & Co. You started a podcast with your friend Jenna. So give us a kind of rundown. What is this podcast? What is this about? And
The Co-Parenting
Yeah.
Chronicle.
Jenna and I kept getting approached by, other people online and social media and friends of ours. And they were just like, wow, it's so great that you as co-parents. So Jenna is the stepmom of my daughters. And we just decided that, a lot of people could get something from our message and how we get along and how it's better for our children and to be together in a happy, cohesive, blended family.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were wishing that they, oh, I wish I had that relationship, or oh, I wish I could have what you guys have. And I was like, Chelsea, I think they have something here. We should.
so walk me through how this all works. So who is who and what is what and who and all that.
So
That's the juicy details.
I actually made a video of this on our social media platform just to explain because everyone was confused about the diagram. But it actually started with my husband, Anthony.
Right there.
He had our oldest, Vinny. He's later on in the story, though. We didn't meet him until later. But then my ex, Andy, and I, we had two daughters. And then Jenna and Andy met. There was no cross mingling, I promise. No.
Oh, okay.
But Andy and Jenna have their son, Ruber, and I met my husband, Anthony. So we have a blended family with two boys and then our two daughters. And then Jenna and Andy have our two daughters, a son.
I'm currently 19 weeks pregnant.
Yes, wow.
Yeah.
So the plot thickens.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes. I
Wow.
asked Jenna this morning, I'm like, so can we announce your pregnancy on the podcast?
That is amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow.
So our blended family is going to be growing by one. So when we take our weird family vacations, there's going to be 4 adults and 6 kids.
Well, that adds about 10 more seasons to your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. We have a lot of content.
So can I ask Andy who's better hang one?
No.
We have an episode, right?
That's weird. I mean, don't make it weird. Yeah.
Probably the questions that you probably get in your DMs because you ask your listeners.
No, all the DMs are about my tattoos, my Russian prison tattoos. Everyone wants to talk about my tattoos, apparently. That's all I care about.
Because you ask your listeners and your Facebook followers to ask questions.
Yes.
Oh, we got a really weird request.
Yeah, let's hear about these.
Oh, yeah. The most recent one was in our email, and she asked if during an episode, if we could plug each other's noses and ask
For a solid
8 minutes. She was
She was
specific
very
about it,
specific.
8 minutes. And if we
Heavy.
could ask questions to each other while we were plugging each other's noses. And so we just didn't respond to that one. Sorry. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but it's just too weird. We're not going to do that.
Maybe they need to drop some money in the cash app.
Exactly.
I thought I was being pumped. I was like, I feel like she's fucking with us. Why did she say specifically 8 minutes?
8 minutes. That's a long time.
Yeah.
This is a OnlyFans or a podcast, right?
It's strictly podcast. Strictly
Okay.
podcast.
For now.
We're keeping it PG for the kids. All right, Donnie.
Now, when you guys met, did you like each other right off the bat, or did you hate each other, or what's the story?
we all we ran in the same circle. Like all of our friends were kind of like in the same friend group, but I think, our oldest daughter, Ava, when she was battling cancer, that was when we really got close. Like all of us, we were in the hospitals together all the time. We started taking our family vacations. We just didn't really know what was going to happen with her treatment, and we wanted to spend time together. And that kind of solidified our relationship as co-parents, was just this like traumatic experience that we all shared together.
Yeah, and I think that Chelsea was just happy that Andy wasn't with his ex anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thrilled that he was no longer dating a toxic woman and had a really good one. My name's
So how does Anthony and Andy feel about being mentioned on the show? Do they make guest appearance?
not
on the
yet,
show?
but Andy just said that he's going to start a sub podcast where him and Anthony are going to golf and podcast.
Oh.
together. So they're going to
A podcast.
They
Yeah.
be
Okay.
YouTube
I like that.
idea.
Okay. All right. So what is like the message you two want to get out there by doing this podcast?
I feel like we just want to promote happy, healthy relationships and co-parenting relationships specifically. There are so many parents out there that want what we have, but don't have it. And then there are those who just will probably never get there because a lot of them, they're too much ego, they're too bitter, or they're holding on to infidelity or,
Any kind of issues like that.
issues
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
right? So, and it makes it really difficult for the children, and it's hard to compartmentalize, right? To separate. Oh, my feelings. I'm feeling like this, but you have to remember as a parent,
you're trying to
children.
you're trying to create the best experience for the children.
Yeah, for the betterment of the kids.
I
Yeah.
always think it's always about me. Fuck my kid.
Yeah, we got that about you. We knew it. We
We know.
kind of figured.
We all know that.
Is there any topics that are off limits for your guys' podcast?
Yes. I think that we obviously don't. We will never talk
Never touch
about
politics.
religion. We never touch politics at all. That's just not our space. We are strictly here to talk about how we can blend these families together.
Okay.
And maybe just be a voice of reason for people that just need that extra step to like want to try and extend an olive branch.
Okay. So how do you guys feel Trump is doing? One question that always pops up when I'm checking out you guys' social or listening to your show. Swingers?
So that's like everyone thinks that, and we're just like, I'm sorry to disappoint, but no.
Don't worry about it.
The longer we live in Kenosha, the underground swinger community here is crazy to find that out. Jenna and I haven't been approached, but I mean, like my husband and I have been at bars, and we're like, no, we're good, thank you though.
Oh yeah, they're out there. Yeah.
They're definitely out here in Kenosha, which is a shocker. No name.
Kevin and Julie? What?
They're waving away.
Why are you here? Jeez. All right, so last question. You guys record in a closet? What the fuck?
So it started off as like a bit, right? That like when you're a mom, you usually can only get like 10 seconds to yourself if you're in the bathroom or you're hiding in your closet. And so we were like, how funny would it be if we recorded in Jenna's walk-in closet, like we're hiding from the kids? And if you follow us on social media, there's content where Andy is literally coming in to find a tank top while we're recording. The
Yeah.
dog is there. River's
He's
walking
there.
around in a diaper, like while we're recording. We'll be sitting there, like on the live feed, just being like, "This is our life. This is parenting."
My
So
very
where do people
messy
find?
closet.
I'm sorry. What?
My very messy
Oh,
closet.
yeah.
So every time I'm like, oh, Chelsea, maybe I should move.
No, keep it real. Keep it real.
It's sound absorbers too.
She has a very nice
Yeah, there. Huh?
No, I've seen it on
Okay.
the old YouTube.
So where do people find this podcast?
So currently we are on YouTube where you can actually see the recording of us like visually, but then we're also on Spotify and we are on Apple. We're kind of trying to get into like the iHeartRadio podcast right now, but there is a little bit of like a monetization thing there. So we have to make some money first
You're right. Right?
Yeah.
before we keep shelling it out because right now we're just self-funded. And so like and share and subscribe, please.
It's the
please.
Co-Parenting Chronicles.
Yeah.
Is there a hyphen in there in the title? Just okay. Co-Parenting Chronicles.
And,
Subscribe, like, all that stuff.
And on our Buzzsprout page, our number one podcast that we offer to other people is the K-Town Connects podcast.
Fuck, thank you so much. Wow.
Thank you
Wow.
guys.
Nice. well, we wish you the best of luck, but actually not the best because we want the best. But we support you so much. Continue what you're doing. You're doing great for the community. Keep it up. Woo!
Thank you. Thanks for having us,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank you, Union Post. Welcome back. We're in a new place. We're in our studio. How cool is this? Not in a closet. Maybe we'll go back to the closet. Who knows? But for right now, we're comfortable. And we just had a really awesome live podcast experience. I feel like I wish we would have had a little bit more time.
Yeah.
That was my only.
Yeah, it must have just not fit into the schedule.
Yeah. I wish that we had a little bit more time to talk, but we're super grateful for K-Town Connects for having us on. Shout out
Yeah.
Donnie and Jason.
It was a good experience for sure.
Yeah. And if you listen to the beginning of our episode, that was the little clip from the live podcast to which Jenna made an announcement.
Yeah, so we're going to have another child added to the bunch.
Yay.
Meaning we're going to be outnumbered by not one, but 2 children on our family vacation. We're going to have 6 kids and 4 adults. So that'll be interesting. That'll add a whole new dynamic to what we already have going on
Yeah.
in our chaotic lives. So.
And if you have questions about Jenna and her pregnancy, or how she's feeling, or even just how like being pregnant and also co-parenting and just everyday stress in life, if you have questions, please write in and we'll try and answer them on the next podcast. But how are you feeling so far? How far along are you?
I'm 19 weeks, so about almost halfway there. I'm feeling a lot better than I did my first pregnancy. This was unplanned. We weren't planning on having another child because we already have 3 and we were good with that. But, the world, the universe had other plans for us.
I mean, I feel like that's really, like, I don't know. I think that there's something to be said, and you're probably one of many people who it wasn't a part of the plan, and obviously, like, you're rolling with it.
The people, I'm sure.
You have had a lot of like hardships and insecurities with this pregnancy, just because of, like, you've talked about previously with your body dysmorphia and things like that.
Yeah, I have like severe body dysmorphia. I always have, like, do therapy and things that I can to minimize it. It's just one of those things where I had my son 2.5 years ago, and in October I did a big clean out of the house, got rid of all of the baby stuff, and I was finally feeling like myself again. I had my body back. And
after 2 years, like 2.5 years.
It took that long.
Which I think is normal. Like, that's truly, like, just your psyche. You know what I mean? Like,
and I was just finally, like, feeling good, not just feeling good, but, like, looking really good. Yeah, it took me almost a week to even tell Andy. I was like, I'm gonna ruin his 40th birthday. His 40th birthday was like 5 days away, and I'm like, happy 40th, Daddy-o. Like, you're gonna be the age, basically like a grandpa.
I was thrilled. I was so excited by the news. I started crying tears of joy. I feel like I was happier than you were.
You were a lot. Most people were happier than I was when I found out. Now I'm rolling with it.
Yeah,
Like, it's going to be worth it in the end. I am just not one of those women that enjoys pregnancy. I am excited for the baby to be here, and that's going to be great. Not excited for the whole breastfeeding journey, but I'm still excited for the baby to be here. I think, the girls are already such amazing big sisters to River. River's obsessed with his sisters, and I think just adding one more, whether it's a boy or a girl, to the mix, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And I'm just trying to. I already feel much better than I did my first pregnancy, at least like mentally and physically, because my first pregnancy, I stopped taking my Vyvanse. Like, I have really bad ADHD, and I'm a lawyer, and so my work is, not
tedious.
Yeah, I have a heavy workload, and I was miserable last time without it.
Because you didn't take it, right?
No, my doctor told me that I could, but I was like, oh, well, if I don't feel like, if I can make it 9 months without it, like, I would rather do that. And this time I was like, I'm not stopping, not even for a day.
Yeah.
And I feel so much better.
These are like honest conversations that we need to have, because so many people are on forms of medication for whether their mental health. And I think that we all kind of
Right.
feel like, that like whether it's like mom guilt or you
Guilt.
just don't know, but you also, it's like, what
Yeah.
kind of shape of motherhood are you going to be in for your children if you are
Right.
not this best version of yourself that the medication helps with?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they talk about like benefits outweighing the risks and yada yada. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I can't be miserable. And on top of that, like with when I was pregnant with River, for half the week, Andy was at work all the time, and it would just be me and Paul, the dog. We only had the girls for half the week, and then I was just alone, able to like rot and sleep and like eat and do nothing on the weekends at least, or after work I could just like go to sleep at 5 p.m. But now it's just not like that
No.
anymore. Like River, we have a toddler. The girls are involved in things that are after school activities or swimming, and like there's just a lot more going on in our lives than there was 3 years ago.
Are you
And
happy
I'm
that you
grateful
got
for
to, I was
that.
gonna say, like, but are you happy you got to have that experience in one pregnancy where you could just like relax and like feel what's going on with your body and you know what I mean? Or does this part feel like it's going faster because it is more
Yeah,
chaotic
yeah,
or
it's going by a lot more quickly this time around than it did the first time, which I appreciate.
Mm.
I feel like there are the kind of women who absolutely love being pregnant, and they're like, my baby's safe in here, scared to actually have their baby, be on the outside. Or when the baby comes out, then they're like mourning that, missing having them, their baby feeling safe in their belly.
Yeah, I feel like that was
But
definitely me.
yeah, and I don't have that. Like,
Yeah.
that is not me.
Like,
I am
please
like,
leave.
please, baby needs to come out. Like, once the baby's a healthy size, I'm not like, I'm not trying to like rush this along here, but yeah, I'm definitely happier once the baby is
Awesome.
earthside.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I'm feeling good. And yeah, we already have our anatomy scan next week. So a week from today.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then that should be it. We'll be doing stress tests in the third trimester.
Did you do that last time?
No. No, it's because of because River went into like distress or whatever.
Oh,
Like, I never went into labor, but
well,
like his
explain
heart
that
rate.
for the listeners, like what happened with River and that at the end of your pregnancy.
Yeah, I feel like this is, this is me being positive. Like,
Yeah,
it could
yeah.
be so much worse the second time. I don't know, but like the first time I was pregnant with River, I was in a bunch of new mom groups, like many women do, and there were 2 moms within a week that were 36 weeks pregnant, and they lost their babies, stillborns, and it just, they were just posting to signify the importance of checking for movement.
Yeah.
Your doctor tells you to, and you see it in various like forums or in blog posts or whatever. But like, these were women like where this had literally just happened to them. And it's like absolutely heartbreaking and terrifying, right? To see that somebody just went through 36 weeks and lost their baby. So and luckily River was a really active baby, so he was always moving. And one morning I woke up at like 3:00 in the morning, and I just couldn't get him to move, and I just knew something was wrong. And I had a Doppler at home, which I'm sure all doctors love.
Yeah, but thank God you did.
And I
So
checked his heart rate, and it was only 70. So I called, and they were like, oh, just come in. And I went by myself because we had the girls and we couldn't leave them home alone. They were only 4 and 5s, right? 4 and 5. Yeah. Yeah. 3 years ago. So they were only 4 and 5s. Andy was like, I'll get the girls up, get them in the car. I called my mom. She was coming to pick the girls up from the emergency room because they couldn't be left unattended. So like Andy had to
like a swap. Yeah.
yeah, they did like a little swap. But once I got to the hospital and they hooked me up, they saw that obviously his heart rate was super low, and they were rushed in and were like, we're going to the OR, and ripped everything off me and prepped me for my C-section. They completely knocked me out, and I was all by myself. So I'm like hoping that this time around, maybe that was the reason that I was meant to have another child. So maybe I can have a better experience with this one. My doctor is going to allow me to have a VBAC, assuming everything is good and normal and baby's facing the right directions. I'm hoping to have, a better experience. Or even if I can't have a VBAC and I have to have another C-section, that's fine too, as long as the baby's healthy and I'm healthy.
Yeah.
But it would just be nice to have Andy there with me, alongside me. Like, he was there
when I woke up, he was already in the room waiting for me, to meet our son. We waited to figure out the sex the day that he was born. So he waited. He didn't like go and see if it was a boy or a girl or anything until I woke up from the anesthesia. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So you're
just
feeling good.
yeah, I'm feeling good.
You're almost halfway through.
I'm just like really ready to drink. Like there is no lie. You didn't even acknowledge that spicy pickle margarita I sent you over
I'm sorry. I
on
was so
Saturday.
overstimulated from that entire experience of having that live podcast. Like I was just like, so then I just started to drink because I was overstimulated and it just
Spicy pickle margarita.
that sounds
Oh my
delicious.
God, it looks so
Yeah,
good.
that sounds amazing. Well, I will have one waiting for you.
I'll
I'll
make
sneak
one
it
in the
into the hospital. I'll
hospital.
sneak it into the hospital for you. I will.
Yeah, you won't even have to sneak. Andy walked right in with my Miami Vice 2 nights in a row from
Perfect.
El Camino.
I love it. So, with that being said, we started the episode with such happy news, but now we're kind of getting into a heavier
Yeah.
topic. But I think it's one that's just so necessary. We've had a lot of people write into us and have commented on our TikToks or our different videos we made on our platform, and basically like saying, I could never co-parent because my ex cheated and is now with that person, or that level of trust has now been broken because of cheating. And so I
Right.
think it was just really important for us to not only acknowledge all of you that has happened to, and to say that we're here for you and we're sorry, and it's something that's so impossible to get over, but I think that it is important because that is why we're here, is talking about how in every possible situation how we can co-parent through tragedy or trauma, and infidelity is one of those.
Yeah, definitely. Just having that after that betrayal happens and learning to be able to trust that person again, like not as your partner any longer, but somebody that you need to co-parent with to take care of your children, right?
Right.
You want to be able to trust the person that you're going to be sharing your children with for the rest of your life. They're
Right.
going to be going to a new home, a new space, new surroundings,
Mm.
maybe even a new city or a new state. Things can get really complicated after situations like this arise. All right, so we're going to be diving into this topic that so many people deal with privately, but nobody really feels comfortable. Nobody really feels comfortable talking about this publicly. Infidelity and betrayal. I mean, a lot of people I feel are really embarrassed to talk about it, or they're ashamed and they feel like it's their fault and they don't want to share it with their friends or other people or their family members because they don't want, and a lot of times they don't want them to view their partner as a bad person or whatever it might be. But yeah, I mean, how all of this messiness, shows up when you're co-parenting with somebody. So this episode is about healing, boundaries, and doing what's best for our children.
Even though it's hard.
Yeah,
Especially with
very,
infidelity.
very, very difficult.
So, Jenna, how would you say that betrayal impacts your ability to communicate with co-parents?
Well, I mean, going back to what I mentioned in the intro, it's definitely a trust thing. So I think that once somebody has broken your trust, if they can do that to you, they've also done that to your child, right? Indirectly, they've affected your children by being unfaithful or untruthful to you, the other parent of that child. So when a lot of people think about it as like, how could you do that to me? And how can you do that to your son? Or how could you do that to your daughter, or to our family? How could you do that to us?
Right.
And that's very true, right? I mean, they are hurting everybody in that scenario. And I think that a lot of times they're also hurting themselves. And whether they realize it or not right away, right? And we've kind of talked about this before, Chelsea, just personally. Like, I feel there are just so many different reasons why people cheat. And not that I condone cheating in any capacity, but
no, but I think there's
there are
logical reasons why people cheat. And
yeah, there are times where it's like maybe the relationship is already so horrible, it's so toxic, both people are super unhappy, and they find someone else that takes care of their needs emotionally, physically, something that they obviously don't have if they're that unhappy. And yes, I mean, they should be working on getting divorced or separating in the meantime, right? Like, it's not really okay to just, well, I'm unhappy, I'm cheating, but there are so many factors that go into thinking about getting divorced or separating, especially when you're co-parenting. So I think when it comes to that communication after that trust has been broken. I think the most important part is taking it slow and working on building that trust back up. Once you've gone through the difficult parts and you've done the separating and you're no longer living together and you're properly co-parenting now, right? So you're bringing you got your kids during the week and dad gets them on the weekends, or you're splitting half the week like we do. And once you're in that place, it's going to be really difficult, but probably a little bit easier.
Explain what you were talking about with parallel parenting. What, like, parallel parenting versus
Right.
co-parenting. And I think that because that's a huge thing. I didn't know what parallel parenting was until you had mentioned it. And I think that in that beginning
And I think,
phase,
so in the beginning, I think that's probably what most people do, like as a best option, right? Like, if it's not super toxic and horrible, parallel parenting is at least an option to, you don't have to have your emotions involved. It's strictly about the children, right? So it's pickups, drop-offs, school events, after school events, sports, like there is no communication about anything else between the parents. And, emotions aren't shared. You don't bring up the past. You're not fighting over silly things and wasting time, having these arguments. And
Which I
you're
think,
minimizing that contact. But it does also make it difficult when it's new.
right. Like, I think, like, I mean, let's say in a perfect world, the infidelity happens and you know that you're going to separate. Like, I don't expect people to immediately go into parallel parenting.
Right.
I feel like parallel parenting is a solution instead of having toxic parenting, which is when you're bringing up the infidelity in front of the kids, when you're saying bad things about the other person, when you're calling names, when you're swearing, when you're screaming, when you're fighting. So in a perfect world, like, you wouldn't do that, but we're all human.
Exactly.
And,
I mean, it's
so I feel like
bound to happen every once in a while,
there's
right?
going to be a little bit of toxic. And, I think that even like when my husband and I fight about anything, I just try to make sure to do it not in front of the kids because they don't need to be
or if
around
it's not meant to be an argument and things just start to escalate.
just
it's kind of like, we'll talk about this later.
So I think that, but I mean, because infidelity is such a strong topic and such a terrible thing that happens in a lot of relationships, that I expect it to be a little bit toxic at first.
Oh, definitely.
Just knowing myself, I think I would be not cool, but I would have no chill immediately. But then going into that parallel parenting where you're taking emotion out of it.
And whether you need help from an attorney or a mediator, just of that unbiased third party to help you facilitate, okay, what's the best route forward for the kids and the best way for me to be able to communicate with this person who I now have to co-parent with.
Correct.
And do it in the healthiest manner, minimal contact, but also like, it depends on the age of the children too. Like sometimes it might require a little bit more than it would if they're teenagers or in junior high. If it's a newborn baby, what if you're breastfeeding? Like just.
Oh, it's Cora. Hi, Cora. Me and Jenna are podcasting.
When you come back home, can you go to mommy's house real quick?
For what?
Do you remember the shoes that Ava with for first communion?
Yeah.
Those
shoes I want to wear for Dorothy for tomorrow.
But they're not Dorothy's shoes. They're not red shoes.
They don't have to be red shoes.
Oh, okay. How about I just bring them over in the morning on the way to school and I'll just bring you guys to school. I think that's a better plan. Okay. Well,
wait, why are you Dorothy? Well, I guess we can talk about that when I get home.
Dress up as a character from a book.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Do you have your Dorothy outfit still? Okay, perfect. Well, we're gonna let you go because we're podcasting, but I love you.
Get the outfit out of that bottom drawer and get it all ready and laid out. Make sure you got some white tights. Love you. Bye.
I'm definitely putting that in the pod for sure.
Where were we? What were we?
Just talking about parallel parenting versus cooperative co-parenting.
Yeah, and then I think just over time and maybe this isn't going to happen for everybody, but as time passes, time does heal things. Maybe not all wounds, but it does heal.
Softens them.
Yeah, and it helps once you've also moved on, maybe with a new partner, and you feel secure in your new relationship, and it just makes things a little bit easier for
Right.
you to co-parent more peacefully with your ex who may have harmed you in the past.
Yeah, I think that was perfect. So we want to also talk about when the affair partner becomes the step parent, because I think that makes it even worse. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
100%.
now not only were you cheated on, was there infidelity involved in your relationship, but now that person that was partaking in the infidelity is right there in front of your face
Yeah.
all the time
So now you have
and
two
around your
people
children.
that you don't trust that are raising your children.
Right. Right.
It just
Or,
makes
and
it.
also, like, I think it's hard too, because it's like we talked about this previously, but it's like, okay, like I automatically, as a woman, always judge another woman in a relationship like that, because it's like, if they
Right.
knew
Yes.
and they chose to pursue it anyway,
Mm.
immediate judgment for you. Like, I'm sorry, like
Yes.
I try to be as neutral as I possibly can, but in that scenario, I know that like I think less of you because I would never do that.
Right.
Like, I would
Oh,
never do that. Like, I would be like, I think you're great, but you have to end your marriage. Like, we'll pick this up
yeah,
when things
you
are
have
clear. But
children,
yes,
like
exactly.
there are a lot of different things at stake here. You can't
Right.
just
But
and
did that person not know? Were they also just an innocent person who fell in love and then
yeah,
it was too late?
and
And
that's
then,
the case a lot of times,
yeah.
right? Or they're being lied to. Just like the wife is being lied to or the partner, right? Like,
Right.
well, we've been separated, we're still living together because we have the kids, we haven't slept in the same bed for 2 years, we haven't had sex in 5 years, like
Right.
we're just staying together until the kids are 18 and then, we're going to go our separate ways. There are situations where I'm sure that also happens all of the time. And I don't want to be like super judgy because just on that one person, right? Because the real problem is the actual parent
Mhm.
who is cheating on their spouse and destroying their family.
Right. Like, that's the person who the betrayal
a
is
lot
with,
of
but
times you
it's,
do, but as a woman, you think you're putting yourself in their shoes, and
of
you think, oh,
course.
I would never do that,
But you're
right?
also, it's hard to see that the betrayal is with the person you were in a relationship with,
Yeah,
not this
exactly.
other person,
Not the other
and then
person. Yeah,
there's
a lot of
also,
times you blame that other person. Oh, you tore apart my family.
but also, yeah, because I feel like
That
as
makes
women
it
also,
difficult.
you naturally, like, I would immediately compare myself to that person. What does that
100%.
person have?
Yep.
Like, is
What do
why,
they have
like,
that I don't
right,
have?
like, what do they have that, like, why did you feel that need? And I think that when we get to the core of infidelity, 99% of the time, it's
It
not
has
you.
nothing to do
It
with
has
you.
nothing
It's
to do with
everything to do with
you.
that
Yes.
person. Whether that be they're unhappy, it could be insecurities, depression, especially in males, can cause them to feel less than and they look for things elsewhere. There are just many different reasons, right? And I guess it all just depends at the end of the day if it's something that's you guys are willing to work on and fix. If it was it a one-time thing? Does this person want to be with this new person now? What the circumstances are after you find out about the infidelity and betrayal.
And there's no right answer to infidelity. If you, like, I don't think that if I was cheated on, I could stay with that person. I know myself enough to know that I would bring it up in every argument.
Right.
I would, and I
Yeah,
think,
which is also not fair
no, I
because
think when you decide to be with that person after
after
they
that,
after they had
yep,
infidelity, you then lost the right
to
to
continuously
yes,
berate
you have
them, bring
to.
it up. You have to work. It's not going to happen right away, right?
No.
Like there's a time limit for those sorts of things. I feel like where you can be a little bit more high alert and ask more questions and just require a little bit more verification than you normally would, right? Because
Right.
it's like this is fresh. You just broke my trust. Like I need to rebuild it. I need to be able to trust you
Yeah.
again. So whatever that looks like for
No, and
you,
we're not
right?
judging anybody. Like, I don't expect you
Yeah.
to leave your person, or I don't expect you to stay with your
Right.
person. I think you have to do what's best for you and your family at
Yeah,
that
and
time.
I think
But
like that, but that's a good point is that if you do decide to forgive someone and move forward, you're never going to be able to move forward if you continue to
right.
be like, oh, well, you cheated on me. Oh, well, you
And
cheated on me.
dangling
Oh,
that in
well,
front
yeah.
of them as a
Yeah,
relationship.
it's also not
like,
fair to them. Like,
no.
yeah, they did something extremely wrong, broke your trust. They broke your heart, but at the same time, if you're going to forgive them, then you need to put in all the work that is required to
Definitely.
get over that because it is a lot of work and I've been there. Um, many times in life
Mhm.
with all my boyfriends pretty much. Like I dated a lot of shitheads, like, and you put in the work or you break up because it's just not
Yeah.
going to work, right? You just don't trust that person.
I feel like when you're talking about an affair with a person that is then becoming a step parent, like you and I had both kind of came to like the consensus that you have to balance your personal pain with acknowledging that that person may actually be good for your children or may
Yeah,
be kind to your children, and also
exactly.
just really trying to avoid conflict in front of the kids. I think
Right.
that, like we saw there was one specific comment that said that, and I don't think even infidelity was involved, but she had commented and messaged us and said that like she's been with the man for like
Oh,
15
yeah, like
years
50, something like
and
that.
still has never even spoken to this woman,
Yeah, this
and
woman won't
so,
even look at her.
which
And
I
there was
think,
never any infidelity, or at least we don't know for sure. She didn't disclose that if there was, but it's just like, yeah, that's a long
yeah, and
time to
that's adding
go.
conflict onto your kids, like, that's
With
making it harder for them.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, definitely. I just think it's definitely a challenge. So what about relief versus jealousy when that affair relationship ends? So your partner cheats on you, you separate, they're off with their new partner that they cheated on you with, then everything seems so amazing and
mhm,
they're living the high life, but then it ends.
yeah. Yeah, sorry. I was a bitch, babe. You slept with a married man or you slept with a married woman, and now that relationship fizzled out because, oh, surprise, surprise, that wasn't the answer to all your problems.
Yeah.
And then it ends. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
not the bigger person in that scenario. Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna
Karma's a
be
bitch.
rooting for them.
No. Oh, that sucks. Sorry. I think what's even more challenging though, it's like obviously you're gonna feel relief, but then what happens often, and it's happened to friends of mine or coworkers of mine, then they come back to you. That
Yeah.
affair ended.
Yeah.
It didn't work out the way they
And then it
planned.
complicates things for you
Yeah,
and
shit
your
gets real.
children.
It's not puppy dog love anymore.
But
No.
also adding another layer, it's like, well, more than likely at this point, your children have been introduced to this person,
Mhm.
right? If you're co-parenting, like these people are probably commingling, living together, or at least spending the weekends together, and this person
Right.
has met your children. So now they're broken up and this person is now gone. And that just creates confusion for your kids as well, especially if they're young. And if they're older, they're going to be like, you're a joke. Like, what are you
Mhm.
doing? I know if I were a teenager, I would be like, Mom, Dad, what are you doing?
But I also still think that it's like, so I mean, growing up with parents that there was infidelity involved, and my parents constantly were split up, back together again, split up, back together again. I mean,
Yeah.
multiple times in my life. And so not only was I getting used to them and their new partners that they were with, but then having to like rationalize in my
Them
child
back
brain them
together.
being back together and then that breakup again and them screaming and being
Yeah.
toxic
And they're married. So it's like,
right. And so it's
newsflash,
just
you don't break up when you're married.
no, I know, and so but they
But
yeah, they did. They fully
people
got divorced and then would, like, get back together. It was confusing, and I'm sorry, I think
Yeah.
it set me up for failure in what a normal functioning relationship was like, and I searched my entire life looking
Yeah, you dated
for
some shitheads too.
yeah, and so it's just I think that it's just, like, when you like, it's confusing, and you're not seeing what a healthy relationship actually looks like, and so that was one thing that I always promised myself is that no matter what happened with any of the fathers of my children, that I was never going to use it against them, and that, I wasn't gonna make dangle my children in front of them, and I also wasn't going to continue to be around people unless I thought I was gonna marry that person, and which is, when I married my husband, I was like, "Okay, yeah, like, you're gonna be around the kids
Right.
because I'm gonna marry you," but
Yeah, it definitely makes it tricky. It's
yeah.
like, yeah, you're happy that things didn't work out, but it's like, oh man, what are they going to get up to next? Then you kind of have to worry. You're left in that limbo, like,
Right.
oh man, what kind of person are they going to bring
Mhm.
home now? And it's not your problem anymore in the sense that like you have to personally
But it is when you have
manage it,
your
but it's your
kids.
problem when you are
Because
co-parenting.
you're constantly introducing a new mommy or daddy into this kid's
Yeah,
life,
and
and
that's
it's not.
and it's also like not only that, but it can be unsafe. Like
Yes,
it could be
yes.
unsafe. Like there, you mentioned the fact that maybe this person had an affair and helped tear apart your family, but they love your children and they take care of your children and
Mhm.
they're trustworthy when it comes to caring for your kids. And sometimes you just actually have to
You're
take
hold
a
to the
step
side,
back
yeah.
and
Yeah.
realize like, okay, well, at least they love and care for my kids and that is good enough for me. That's what I'm looking for,
Right.
right? Versus if you're just bringing anybody in willy-nilly who, could harm your children in any way, right? Or just not be accepting of your children or pretend like they are around the partner. But then when that partner's not around, it's a completely different situation. Like it's scary to be bringing new people around your kids, especially when they're younger. You can't just you're not just going to trust any random person just because your ex does trust them,
And some of Andy's exes, like even before they if there wasn't infidelity involved in that aspect, but just like there was sketchy things that happened with the girls around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just like imagine that you, like you said, the trust was already broken. You were already unfaithful.
Right.
And then now this person is also being weird to my kids, or
Yeah.
even the scenario where that person that they had the affair with resents the children because that's still your tie to your ex-wife, or your ex-partner.
Exactly.
There's a lot of crazy people out there that
Yeah.
do that. Like, they're not good step parents. They're
Right.
not good co-parents. They use the
Yes.
children as like a way to
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Well, because those step parents can also be super jealous, right?
Right.
And usually that's what it comes down
Have
to.
you
It's
seen
jealousy.
Cinderella?
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's
the notorious evil
jealousy
stepmom.
of your partner's kids that they had before you were in the picture. It's usually, I feel like it's probably two things. Jealousy over, usually if it's a good parent, they'll put their children first and before their partner,
Right.
like their needs anyway.
Right.
But also because those kids are half of another person. And they're like, oh,
100%.
well, we don't have kids of our own. And like, I don't know, like,
No, I definitely
but then again, it goes back to why are we dating people who
don't like your children.
why are we
Like,
dating people who don't
I
like
feel like you
our
get an
children
inkling
or
of
aren't
whether they
accepting
Right.
of them?
Right.
Like,
So, I mean, it's hard. This is a heavy topic, and I feel like there really is no right answer. Jenna and I are not psychologists. We are not
No.
experts. We are just talking about our own experiences with how we co-parent, and I think that we've come up with some like good themes that we've talked about of like things that are hard about infidelity and how that is going to change the dynamic of not only your life but the way you co-parent. But we've come up with a couple just things that we would like to share about healing and acceptance and moving forward, because you are in control of that. You are in control of prioritizing your kids' well-being, even when your wounds are still fresh.
Yeah, and you can only control your emotions and your actions.
Right.
You cannot control other people's actions
Right.
or their emotions. You will drive yourself crazy if
Mhm.
you try to do
You can't. You
otherwise.
penalize with somebody
It's
that
something
can
that I
no.
learned from my therapist really early on.
Yeah. And
You
it's
can't.
and there's
You
it's
go
not
nuts.
you. Like I think that's if there's like the biggest takeaway I can say to everyone listening is just like we had said earlier, the person who was cheating on you, it is not something that you did. Like there's really is something inside of that person, and I think that you need to just take that first, that it's, you can't judge yourself or compare yourself because that's just going to get you nowhere. But I would like to say that, the number one thing for like healing, acceptance, and moving forward is rewriting the narrative, because the betrayal does not define you.
Yeah. And if it's possible in your situation, seeing the step parent as an additional adult who also loves your children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
Right.
important.
Like, I mean, if they really truly do love and care for your kids, like it's just somebody else that your kids
It makes it a little bit better. Obviously, therapy. Jenna and I will say it until we're blue in the face. Go to therapy.
Yep.
Even if you haven't suffered from infidelity, go to therapy. Boundaries are going to be your number one best friend. Also, I think journaling and support groups. Yeah, support groups. I mean, there's so many. There's even just like Facebook groups that you can join, social media groups. I know that like local women's and children's groups in our town, they will have support groups because sometimes there's infidelity, but also domestic violence that comes into play. So definitely look up your local, neighborhood, county sites and see what they have for you that's available.
Yeah. And I think letting go of the need for an apology that may never come.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Like a lot of times people aren't going to get the apology that they're looking for.
Or that they deserve.
Or that they deserve. And you might just get the, oh, I'm sorry. oh, I'm sorry. But like,
Mhm.
are you really sorry? Like,
Mhm.
I feel like people show that they're sorry with their actions. So
Mhm.
I think it kind of just matters how the rest of your separation, your co-parenting journey kind of pans out. You can truly tell if someone is sorry, if they respect you, if they cheated on you and destroyed your whole relationship and now you're divorced.
Right.
That person should not be speaking poorly about you when they were the ones who, you know what I mean? I feel
Right.
like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Where if this man or woman respects the mother of their children or the father of their children after kind of tearing apart their family, I think that makes a really big difference.
For sure. I think what we had talked about earlier and what Jenna had explained, like our final takeaway before we close out is parallel parenting until emotional wounds heal enough for cooperation. Like I don't, I can't say that if infidelity was involved or if Jenna had been like the other person, like I don't know if our
Right.
relationship would be the way that it is. I can't even
Definitely.
imagine. We've talked about extending the olive branch in different episodes, and I that could take
Yeah.
years.
Like if you were
especially
with
if it's-
Andy and while you guys were together, I
Yep.
came in and
Yep.
broke you guys up. It
Which
certainly
didn't happen, by the way. It didn't happen.
that didn't happen. No.
But
There
I
were
think
years
that
in between.
yes,
Andy
but
had other girlfriends before me after Chelsea. So
we
there were
don't need to bring them up.
man. But yeah, so healing isn't linear. Some days you're going to feel powerful and grounded. Other days there's going to be those unexpected trigger that kind of knocks you down. But the goal isn't perfection, it's stability for your kids. So your story doesn't define your future and your children benefit from emotionally grounded adults at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, we couldn't leave you without our second CCJ segment.
Yes. Let me pull these.
Concerned Citizen Joan, we owe you our lives, truly. We're so grateful that you felt the need to give us your opinion about our lives and my body. Because
People
that's
really love
the
Chelsea's
funniest part.
tattoos for whatever reason.
I'm just commenting on anyone's body.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, it is just
No.
wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. I would never once be scrolling on social media and be like, you know what? I'm going to stop everything I'm doing and I'm going to comment about that person's body. But
Mhm.
we love you. We love the
Trolls.
we love the engagement. And yeah, so this week, CCJ, Concerned Citizen Joan. What do we got, Jenna?
Oh, the first one we have is if my kids wanted to go, I wouldn't say no. But thankfully, I don't have that issue because there are no steps in my kids' lives.
Quote unquote steps.
Well,
psycho.
Like, thank you for being here, but also like,
good for you.
yeah, I mean, you have a perfect marriage and everything's grand,
I think it's
and
also
there are
so
no
gross.
steps.
Right. So then why are you even
Like,
commenting?
why are you
You're even
bothering
commenting
to
then.
comment? Because you don't know anything about what
Also,
it's like to co-parent.
I'm so happy that there are no steps in your life because the fact that she called them that, like, that's so gross to me.
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about this before, but if you're new here, like, we don't call kids stepchildren in our lives. Like, my oldest is technically my stepson. No, that's my son. Like, the girls are technically her stepdaughters. No, those are her daughters. Like, there's no steps. We don't use that word. Whatever. God bless. Hey, gonna make it after all. You don't know her family. She could have a weird uncle up north.
Honestly, I already apologized to both of my uncles because they're amazing. Definitely
But also,
not
like,
weird.
yeah, she might have a weird uncle up north, but I would trust her to not let them around the weird uncle.
Yeah,
Whatever.
oh my gosh. Okay. Oh yeah, that one down there. This one, Peter. Stanbridge. Peter. I can see why they have a stepmom.
I must be
On
so
a video
terrible.
of Chelsea for whatever.
I must be so terrible. All right, Karen, not Karen. Those tattoos, period, ick, period.
So why did you break up with the father? Questioning, thinking emoji. Like, so why did you break up with the father? You guys co-parent so
name?
well.
What was their name?
Consigliere?
Tune in, okay, bud, and maybe we'll talk about it. Let's have this conversation 10 years from now. I want to see something. Thanks, Sim. Yeah. See what?
Probably thinks we're going to hate each other 10 years from now.
Well,
like, oh.
Call him.
You'll have to let him know.
All right. So we'll have one more for the night.
Stop getting tattoos.
Like what? It's like it's
Oh, no.
2026.
Got another good one. I
It's,
can't let
it's
this.
2026. Why are you still commenting on my tattoos? Like what? I just don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Everyone has a million tattoos except for me because I'm a lawyer. But if
I'm
it were up
also,
to
like,
me, I would be covered in tattoos as well.
I'm a hairstylist and I work with like the artists in like the like I just don't like, of course I have like a bunch of tattoos on me, but like I'm my profession allows them too. But once
Yeah.
again, why are you commenting?
Yeah,
Ugh.
exactly.
All right, what do we got? Oh, Sandy. Hey, Sandy. Are you okay? Question mark. You look high. Sandy, if I
Yeah.
could get high without having a crippling anxiety attack, I promise you I would, okay? But no, unfortunately, I just have to raw dog life.
Yeah, we'll close it out with Sandy.
Oh,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Sandy. Another amazing segment of CCJ.
Yep.
So to wrap it up, we just want to please ask you to continue, like, subscribe, rate now that we have released all of Jenna's new pregnancy tea. If you have questions about pregnancy or like how just having her own biological children with co-parenting, I think those are really good questions. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to kind of get some questions and some
Yeah.
some more content about your
Yeah.
pregnancy because I feel like that definitely matters.
Definitely.
But next week, we are going to be talking about navigating co-parenting challenges with older versus younger kids and the realities of step-parenting. And so if you have personal experience in navigating these issues, please send us an email and we will discuss next week. As always, if you have future episode ideas, please email them to us at the Co-Parenting Chronicles LLC at gmail.com.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.